In the early 19th century, France was seeking to expand its influence in North Africa, including Morocco. The Sidi Aissa region was of interest to the French because of its strategic location and the powerful tribes that defended it. The French wanted to consolidate their control over additional areas in Morocco and expand their colonies. The local tribes in the Sidi Aissa region resisted French expansion with all their might. These tribes were made up of fierce warriors known for their bravery in defending their lands, and they relied on guerrilla warfare tactics. In contrast, the French forces were supported by modern technology and well-organized forces. Before the battle broke out, there were growing tensions between the local tribes and the French forces who were trying to extend their influence over the region. France sent a large military force to the Sidi Aissa area to secure control over it, but the tribes refused to submit and decided to confront. As the French forces prepared to launch a major attack, the local tribes of Sidi Aissa began to mobilize their forces. The local warriors prepared to defend their area by all means possible, relying on the mountainous terrain and the war tactics for which they were famous. The battle broke out when the French forces attempted to advance towards the tribes' positions. The tribes began to launch quick and surprise attacks on the French forces, taking advantage of the natural terrain and mountain passes to strike at the French supply lines. The French forces responded to the initial attacks by the tribes by launching an organized and direct attack on the warriors' positions. The French attempted to use their military and technological superiority to break the tribes' defenses, but they faced heavy resistance. The tribes used hit-and-run tactics that involved quick strikes followed by retreating to safe positions in the mountains. These tactics exhausted the French forces, who found it difficult to keep up with the repeated attacks. As the battle continued, the tribes began to launch more daring attacks on the French positions. The French forces found themselves under increasing pressure as the tribes attacked from several fronts at the same time. Fighting raged in the mountain passes around Sidi Aissa, where the tribes exploited the natural terrain to their advantage. The French forces found it difficult to move freely in these areas, making them easy targets for surprise attacks by local warriors. After several hours of fierce fighting, the French forces began to retreat. The continuous attacks by the tribes, coupled with the difficulties the French forces faced in the rugged terrain, caused them to suffer heavy losses. In the end, the local tribes were able to force the French forces to withdraw completely from the Sidi Aissa area. This victory was a symbol of the strength and courage shown by the tribes in defending their lands against the colonial powers. After the battle, the tribes continued to maintain their independence in the Sidi Aissa region and remained resistant to French colonialism. This victory gave a strong boost to resistance movements in other regions of Morocco and had a significant impact on the morale of the French and their efforts to expand their influence in the region. The Battle of Sidi Aissa in 1823 was an important milestone in the history of Moroccan resistance against French colonialism.